Greetings, everybody. This is the Rec Center Show on KSCW 103.1 FM. I'm your host, Gary Cohen, and our special guest today, Katie Van Leuven, our supervisor of our village store. Welcome back, Katie.
Oh, thanks. It's so good to be back. I can't tell you.
Fantastic. And you know what? Before long, we are going to be having a really big event here at the Rec Center, the incredible Fall Craft Fair. Tell us all about it.
Okay, the Fall Craft Fair is, it's huge. We have 23 of our clubs that participate. And this year we've had a lot of clubs that have expanded their membership. So we've done a lot more changing of the layouts and getting as many tables to accommodate all the merchandise in as possible. So it's been a little experience having been off for a while and trying to get back and get that all done. But I think we've got it handled. And working with Don Crumley in the social hall, he's just amazing to work with. So I think we're good.
And of course, for a lot of newcomers, this may be their first such event. This is an indoor and outdoor, correct?
Correct. It encompasses the R.H. Johnson Recreation Campus, indoors in the social hall, and then out on the driveway, and then in the courtyard area. And down this year, for the first time, we're going to have the food vendors on the Great Lawn. So that'll be nice. We'll have the broadcast club as our radio people, and that'll be really fun. The disc jockeys will give announcements for the clubs, so we encourage all the clubs to send your information to Erica Hutchinson before the fair. I'll send an email out to those clubs that are participating to remind them to do so. And we'll be able to direct people in a way that we've never really done before, in that our disc jockeys that we had in the past were paid disc jockeys, and y'all are members of the community, so you're much more familiar with the campus and where things are. And so it'll be really fun. We're really looking forward to it.
Now, there are nearly 24 clubs involved in this. For those who are new to our community, tell them the kinds of clubs that display their wares.
Sure. We've got everything from the agriculture club that makes soap out of loofah that they grow. We have the garden club that grows cactus and other plants. And then we have all of our craft clubs that are represented in the village store. The wood, metal, all kinds of jewelry, the silver lapidary, everything from ceramic pieces to clay pieces, a lot of sewn items from the Rip and Sew Club, the Palo Verde Patchers, the Copper, Enamel, and Glass Club makes some beautiful things. The Stained Glass Club, whose club room is actually closed right now, is going to participate. They were questioning whether or not to, but they're going to. We're glad for that. Every club that we have is going to be in it. And we love it because the fall fair, they sell a lot of Christmas items. And the people like that, and they want to get their Christmas shopping done. We host probably 10,000 guests during the 6-hour period of time. Runs from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then they'll have some new food this time. The Church on the Green is going to be making some wonderful cinnamon rolls. I've not tried them, but they haven't given me a sample yet. Mimo's Bistro will be serving breakfast burritos and hot dogs. The kettle corn gentleman will be making kettle corn, and then Sun City West will sell donuts and coffee. This is a fair to buy merchandise that people have made, not necessarily have everybody sit around and eat. So we do want to be able to accommodate their meal so they don't run out and don't come back.
Of course, you couldn't ask for better weather at this time. We have just turned, and can you imagine that? The 90s are about to disappear, the 80s, a beautiful Saturday, November 2nd. It's a great time of year.
It is. It really is. It gets a little chilly in the morning, and our fair crowd generally appears along about 9:15. It starts at 8, and we have the early birds that are there always. And then about 9:15, it starts to get very busy, and that'll last until about 11:30. And then it kind of thins out. So to get your best bargains, come early.
And of course, parking, you can parking is throughout the whole area. Right?
Absolutely, yeah. The whole parking lot is dedicated to the fair. And we encourage people not to park over at Fry's, however, because it just gets so jammed up there on a normal day. We have cooperation with Fry's. They allow us to use some of their shopping carts for the vendors to bring their merchandise back and forth from their cars. And we will have security guards here. We want to keep the crowd safe, and we just want to have fun and enjoy the day because it goes fast. But I've done this is number 29 that I've done since I started working here.
It's a lot. How much time do you take in setting up? And would imagine a day or two before? When do you start setting up? Actually?
Well, actually, Don Crumley has to coordinate all the tables and chairs from other facilities. So his folks start setting up on Friday morning. Most of the clubs that are in the social hall, they have it set up by Friday morning, and then the clubs come in and bring their merchandise in. They're generally done by 3 o'clock, and then the sidewalk club, the clay club for one, the wood club is out there, and the metal club, they set up in the afternoon. We do have a security guard that patrols at night outside to keep their merchandise safe, and that's paid for by the clubs. And then we just, in the morning, the clubs in the courtyard will come and start setting up at 6 a.m. or 5:30. And they just get it all up there and just start selling. And it's just wonderful. We do close at 2. However, we've got, credit cards still available for those last minute shoppers.
And of course, I imagine it takes a while to break it all down, boy.
Oh, it does. But I'll tell you what, by the time I usually leave around 4 on Saturday, and pretty much the tables have been broken down and loaded, and then they transport them on Monday. But they do a fabulous job. Don's crew is just wonderful.
Can I ask you, would you say is the big difference between the fall fair and then the other fair we have in the spring?
Oh, okay. Yeah, the spring fair, which is always the third Saturday of March. Mm-hmm. This fall fair is always the first Saturday of March. The difference is the crowds in March I think they're bigger because March is the time that we have all the snowbirds here. We have the baseball spring training going on, and the items that they sell are different. As I said, this fall we accommodate the holiday shopping, a lot of Christmas things, and the snowbirds get involved more in the spring fair because they've been here for the winter, been able to make things and get them into the fair. We have fewer clubs actually that participate in the spring. The Garden Club doesn't participate. Every other year, the Palo Verde Patchers don't because they have a quilt show. So it's just coordinating, keeping track of all of this is my biggest job, and who does what, when, and where, and how. And we do actually have higher sales generally in the spring, but I think that's because the crowds are larger, not because there's any difference in the merchandise. The quality is wonderful and the quantity is plentiful.
You really get to see all the creativity we have in our community, don't you?
It's amazing. We have some of the finest craftsmen that I've ever seen, and they're hobbyists. So it's not like they did it for a living. Most of them never did. So the clubs offer mentors to teach them how to do it. They perfect their skills. They bring it to the store, and we ooh and ah, and our customers absolutely love what they make.
And let's talk about the Village Store.
Okay.
Yeah, what's new? What's happening?
Well, we have some beautiful woodwork that's coming in, and I'm just overwhelmed by it. We haven't had a lot of the merchandise come in yet because we still have a lot of snowbirds and people that are gone. We're currently housing the Halloween items. We will be pulling those out next week to bring some of the Thanksgiving and Christmas items in. So we have those available for the fair. We try to load the store up as much as we can so people can shop in the store as well as in the other areas of the sale. So it's nice. We do a good business in the store, and some of the members they've kind of aged out of doing the fairs because it's a lot of work, hauling their things back and forth and sitting there for 6 hours. So they choose to put it in the store. So we have the same quality merchandise in the store all the time as well as at the fair.
You're listening to the Rec Center Show on KSCW 103.1 FM. Our special guest today is Katie Van Leuven, who supervises our Village Store. Katie, You're always in need of volunteers.
Absolutely.
How can people get on? Again, this is newcomers. We've had a lot of new folks moving into the community. How can they get on board?
They can just come to the store. We have a calendar. Currently, we're in a transition where we're going to be setting up an electronic calendar. That will be done after the fair is over. But right now, we have an old-fashioned calendar on the wall. You put your name down. We'll explain what you have to do, which is be nice to customers. If you wish to be a cashier, we'll teach you. We have a POS barcoded scanning system. It's quite easy. And we just would love to have you because it gives such a nice impression to our customers when they see residents of the community representing, what the others are making or they are making. And we encourage the members that make items, come into the store. If you want us to change a display or move something around, we're happy to do it. This is your store. I just happen to run it.
And you've been doing it for a bit, I bet.
I have, yeah, almost 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does it get easier?
You know what? It gets better because as I see the pride in the members grow and grow, it just makes you feel so good to have our customers come in and gloat about what beautiful things we make, and I really like that.
It's really incredible. Having walked around and the creative display that's out there. Every shelf has something different.
Yes, yes, and we don't have a lot of repeats. People find that if something sells well, they'll make it again, which is nice, but we don't have a row of the same thing, that like you do in some retail stores. Everything is unique, different, and every year we get something that's this new aha kind of an item. So it's always fun to see what they're going to make next.
Now, with this big fair coming up, do you get a chance to actually step back from it all and look around yourself at things that you're interested in?
Well, it's funny. I walk around a lot and I drive my little buggy around a lot. And what I'm doing is analyzing how the clubs are laying their merchandise out. I want them to merchandise it in the best way they can, utilize their space to the best of their ability. But occasionally something will strike my fancy and I'll say, could you hold that? I got to go get my credit card. But I do. I bought some things. I have 2 little granddaughters, so I'm always looking for things for them because they love our stuff.
And it's a family event too. A lot of people bring their little ones to the fair.
Yes, they do. Yes, and people bring pets and strollers and things, and I just want to encourage people to watch out for those. If you see, or someone on a walker, please be mindful, give them some space because it gets pretty crowded. We try to set it up in a way that we have ADA requirements, and we just want to have everybody have a safe, fun, happy day.
Let me ask you, Katie, if you don't mind, if someone's parked at a distance, can they get any help getting around at all?
That's one thing we've not been able to do. I wish that the rec centers had, carts that they could help them. We did it one time, and I think they were worried about the liability.
Sure.
So it's just something I'd love to be able to arrange because it is quite a hike.
And is there anything else that you would like to add about the fair or anything else coming up at the store?
Well, I'm just happy to be back. I'll be back full time on Monday, and thank goodness I still have my job and I have all these beautiful things to sell. And I'm just really, really happy, and I hope we have a wonderful fair.
Fantastic. You've been listening to the Rec Center Show on KSCW 103.1 FM. Our guest today, Katie Van Leuven, who heads up the Village Store. Katie, welcome back.
Thanks.
And it was great speaking with you, and we look forward to speaking to you after the fair and see how things go.
Thanks. Absolutely, Gary. It's good to see you, too.